folks. How we going? Surprise, Jeffrey. You said you hated the other channel, so I changed it again. I like to change things up on this show. It's been a hot minute since we've been here, and what had happened was. And you will see that we have some different faces. I am here, of course, because people need someone to rein them in. I have the lovely Jeffrey Emmett with me, as always. Katrina A. Johnson is a little bit busy this week, which is fine. We love her for that. I think she's still post-birthday month celebration surviving. So we have Luke stepping in for Katrina A. Johnson. We have one blonde to another. And of course, we've got two familiar faces to the UCR family down the bottom here, Miss Dakota and Madison Devine. Welcome to your initiation into what had happened was, where we trade our secrets for the pleasure of others. See what I did there?
Story of my life.
Pleasure. Oh. So we've had a bit of a discussion amongst the group about, what we will talk about today and what these fine, upstanding members of the community around me could offer you in terms of advice and stories. And we decided to come up with Sexcapades Gone Wrong, I guess you would call the title of the show. So we all know that, we've done a Sexcapades show before where, we told some saucy stories. This is the, when good girls go bad moment / blooper reel of your sexual history / dating life.
It's like my life.
Yeah, welcome. So one of the two newbies should probably introduce us into the world of their life. Who would like to go first out of you two? Madison and Dakota. Come on, give us. Who's got a hot little story?
So what had happened was.
Oh, you did it right. Good work.
So what had happened was, without this sounding too like deranged or whatever, when my mother was, passing, because my mother passed of cancer, which is very sad and a very twisted way to start this story. But anyways, they had put me on depression medication. Okay. Depression medication, supposed to, give you night terrors, supposed to pull your libido away, unless you're Madison Devine.
Oh, no.
So all of a sudden I realized I'm still depressed, but I'm horny as fuck. Plain and simple. I would be walking across the room and I'd get a boner. I'd be making a sandwich. I'd get a boner. Most fat people do. But plain and simple, anything I did, I got a boner. So I go in and I say to my doctor, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, just you're like part of the 5 percentile. And I'm like, well, fuck you. This is like ED medication gone wrong. So anyway, as I'm handling my newfound happiness, we'll say, this man that I was hooking up with, it was very hot in my bedroom, and him and I were going to have a little sexy time. And so I got some ice cubes out. And so, I've seen it in the movie where you start the ice cube all up in here, you go down and around the nipples, and then you start traveling down the happy trail. And he's got his legs spread wide open like the bow of some river.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I just start, going around downtown with this ice cube, and it's getting smaller because it's hot in there. And then all of a sudden I get down and around his tank. And then I am not kidding you. That ice cube disappeared. It was sucked in like a fucking black hole. Literally.
Oh, no.
And he starts dragging his ass across my bed, going, get it out, get it out. So I'm like, what do you want me to do? And literally, by the time I got my fingers up in, well, pretty much I could have lost a hand. He literally, I was like, there's nothing left. Your ass ate the ice cube.
Oh my God. So his ass is a human ice crusher.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
But I'm also just
Maybe
going
they
to say,
needed him on the Titanic.
I'm telling you, it's probably the only thing that would have saved things.
I cannot. Making a bitch
That's-
cry.
That's a lot. That's a lot of information. Like, his hole had a gravitational pull.
I'm not kidding you. I have never seen something slide in so quickly and so fast. Like it was like it brought
It
a
was like
whole
a game
new
of
meaning.
Hungry Hippos.
It's
I'm
like
no.
Pac-Man.
Luke, must be a relative of you.
Next
Oh,
time, use a
my God.
popsicle. It has a stick. You won't
Oh,
lose it.
No, no. Actually, here's the problem. It's not the first time I lost something up in there. I had this. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't tell this part of the story either. So
Are you
there
sure
was.
you're fucking men and not vacuums?
I'm
What is
telling.
this?
No, I just like red flags, and his ass is like
Different
literally
strokes for
a
different
red
things.
flag. Okay. So I had this toy. We called it the Pink Princess. It was like this 9.5-inch dildo that also was a vibrator. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So we worked
And it was
up.
made for vaginas, right? It didn't have a stopper on it.
No, no stopper. So I turned the little thing on because it's got like about an inch of like turn knob thing where the batteries go in. That's not a part of the 9.5 inches. So it was closer to 10. So I start jimmying it up there and it starts going farther and farther. And then suddenly all I have on my fingers are the very ends. Like I'm afraid the thing's going to twist off and slide right back up there. I am not kidding you. His entire ass ate this 9.5 dildo plus where you put the batteries in.
Jesus Christ, keep
Yeah,
your
But
head
you know
high.
what? This
Yes,
is not an unusual story. This happens so many. There were so many ED presentations
Luke
where
would know.
there was things lost in bottoms, and it would be from the people that you would be quite. Well, I was never surprised. I know people are people, but
You don't
some
know
of them
what
were like,
happens
"Oh,
behind closed doors.
why'd
People,
you
they
try
get-
and put that coffee cup in your bottom?" Like, why?
I feel like that's a
story
story.
time.
Yeah,
We
I feel like
need to
that's
know
a
about the
story.
coffee cup in the ass.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how I can share. Look, okay, there's no names. This
What
person
happened
came in.
was,
What had happened was this poor person had presented laying face down on the stretcher, and we didn't know really what was going on. And the wife's running in and like a coat and hair and everything done. All like they were posh, they were like well-to-do. She's like running in all frantic behind him. I'm like, oh fuck, like if they had a car crash or something. No, there was a coffee cup stuck there and it couldn't come back out because the handle of the coffee cup was like caught. So that was their life that night. We weren't judgmental or anything like that, you know. Had to be rushed to surgery to have that one removed, but that's what happens.
Cool.
Nobody
Oh,
could reach up there and just grab it?
No,
was
it
it the
was
wrong
caught.
angle?
It was
'Cause
caught on
I would
like
imagine the handle was like, you know.
yeah, because it went in, it got like absorbed, so it was like the open part went in first, I think,
Oh,
and then the handle got
how
caught
loose
as they
is
were
that
trying to
man's
get it back out.
asshole to get a
My
coffee
question-
cup with a handle?
Oh, and the story was that accidentally sat on it, and we're like, right, sure.
All
Let's
I
go with
have
that.
to say about that is that's the best part of waking up is Folger's cup in your ass. You know?
Folgers crystal in your lower colon. Ooh,
Best
Just-
part
delicious.
Maybe he was doing a
waking
coffee enema or something. I don't know. Just
I mean, those are real things.
yeah.
We shouldn't laugh about Folgers. That poor girl got murdered.
What?
Anyway,
Huh?
never mind. I'm going all true crime podcast on the play. Go back, Google Abigail Folger, people. If you don't know your
Okay.
true crime.
Wait, she
Anyway,
wasn't ground
this
up
is
in any
another story.
coffee, was she?
No, she was killed by Charles Manson's family members with Sharon Tate.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is Luke.
very
Luke will
sexy.
back it up. Like, I've got friends that work like that are nurses, and they say that so many people lose like vegetables or like some random things. Like,
Only once.
I'm like, but like, or it'll snap off inside, and you're like, oh my god, what?
Yes,
Why
and they
is
have
my
to do an X-ray to see where it is,
Yeah.
to see whether they can extract it or
Why
it
is
has
my
to go
lower
to
GI
surgery.
tract now a salad bar?
And you'll
It's
see like these
that's so
X-rays of like
Treasure hunt. I want to be
these
a part of.
bodies. You'll see like the frame and the X-ray, like the rib cage and everything, and then there's just like this massive random item in there, and
And
it
you can
takes a
always know
lot.
what it is. Like,
Not to
there's-
scoff,
No.
because you don't want to be rude or anything. You're just like, oh my god.
Have you seen the one with the light bulb up there?
No,
Why would
I
you
haven't
play
seen
with-
that one.
Why would you play with fire? Like a light bulb. That's so delicate and so like.
So
People do some crazy shit. Like,
But
wouldn't you
what
just
goes
use
through
the right
somebody's
tools?
mind? What goes
I
through
do have a
somebody's
story.
mind?
Share.
It's not about me, but you want. All right, what happened was, I think I told Jeffrey this one before. So this is high school. This is flash it way back to high school. So, I went to a performing arts high school, as you can imagine.
Yay.
Fame, gay. Anyway, we had a school dance. Okay, and this one has gone down in like the legacy / urban legend of everyone that went to school with me. This couple who have been a couple for ages throughout high school, right? We had like a lot of long-term dating people in my class. I don't know why. They were at a party, right? And apparently they went away from the group into like a field / somewhere area. And he shoved a wine bottle up her poussoir.
Yeah.
A whole wine bottle. But not the
Steve,
not
I
the little
don't
end
mean
first,
to
the
like
fat
detract
end
from your
first.
story, but one of our guests that's been on our show, Bonnie Tonic, you can go back and watch some of our shows, makes quite good money by putting different.
Yeah, but she's a professional
alcoholic
sex
beverages
worker.
in it.
This was a then teenage person, which is kind of illegal, right? It's like,
No, that's just called training.
I don't know.
Nobody's putting a
know.
wine bottle in my penis fly
I
trap.
know. You're like, I am not a mini bar, right?
No, that's
Get it
horrible.
out. And if it is a mini bar, it needs the appropriate sized bottles, not a grown up adult sized wine bottle. That's not okay on so many levels.
That's
Ooh.
insane.
I think it depends on how good the wine is.
Label paper cuts your labia. Oh, it's not nice.
It's like reverse giving birth.
Yeah. And then the wine's not room temperature anymore after it comes out either, is it?
Oh my
no,
god.
it'd be-
You would have to let that breathe. Ooh.
First there was
You'd have to chill the wine again.
Wait. First there was Gwyneth Paltrow's candle of the smelling of her poussoir, as you said it. Now, soon coming from Katrina, her very own poussoir
Slander.
wine.
Who's mine?
Lemonade flavored.
Who's mine? Yes.
Imagine picking up that bottle.
Oh,
Oh, why
that's
is this slimy? Ooh.
Oh my god.
Oh, slimy.
Nobody
bottles.
wants a slimy vagina.
I know that isn't right.
They
is it?
do.
That's
Not
tasty.
slimy.
Madison,
Not
wasn't
slimy.
that your nickname in high school?
Slimy vagina.
Slimer.
Yeah.
No,
Oh!
he had cute nicknames like Get Him and Faggot. That's right.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Very
There was a time.
Horrible.
This is
He
a very
was-
dark episode.
He was that homo. Right?
My
He had,
word.
what was it, like an Oldsmobile, right, or something, or a Buick? You had one of
Oh
those
my
old
God,
lady
you
cars?
remember that?
We both did. Well, I had the Oldsmobile Royal Birmingham, the 1989, the candy apple red, and you had, I don't know, the poor people one, and you had like the bumper stickers and like all the gay things all over it, the pride things, and they vandalized it, right?
So love.
They keyed it from front to back, slashed all 4 tires.
Oh.
And later on, when that was getting fixed, my brake lines got cut in my father's car.
What?
Yeah,
It's very,
I'd cut a bit.
That
Yeah,
was
no.
the era of the Matthew Shepard behaviors.
Yeah.
Oh no, it really was.
It wasn't
This
cool
was
to be gay back then, kids.
well.
No.
That
I
sucks.
had put anti-gay or anti-Bush slogans because he was in office at the time, crossed my. Actually, they kind of were innuendos because it said I'm gay and Bush has to go. But but
So it was probably more just Republican anger at you.
well, trust me, and then it was covered up by the city of Auburn, by the mayor at the time, even though his son was gay, because it was considered.
How do you know that, Madison?
What'd you say? Because he was
his son was.
Is that allegedly?
No. This is not allegedly. This SOB, you know who I'm talking about, Jeffrey. Lattimore.
Jeffrey.
He brought his son in to his office and he said, "This is my gay advisor." And I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, I brought him up from New York City so he could advise on the situation in Auburn." Yeah. And come to find, he was on Broadway. I'm telling you, Jeffrey, it's true.
I didn't know.
So he's a gay advisor because he worked on Broadway.
I didn't ever really hang out in town. You know what I mean? I always went to Syracuse. I never hung out.
This is why the former mayor still sees me and groans when he sees me, because I used to bash him all the time in the news. Mm-hmm.
He did that himself.
Oh
my
So
God.
stay tuned for that episode where Madison goes right in on the ex-mayor of Auburn.
I think we're going to have him on. We're going to have a duo. That'd be a great episode.
No, I think if he when he saw me in the bank one day, he literally like walked out, waited until I left the building.
That's cute. I love it when people have that strong a reaction to you. You're like,
Love
cool.
that.
You've done your job.
All right, Dakota, come on, you got something for us. Girl. I know you
wait.
got
Okay.
Dakota likes to go last. I think that.
matter.
okay. Sorry. Well, Jeffrey, do you have a story? You do have a story, don't you?
Well, yeah, I just have a little one.
Just a little one.
Funny. So I don't want to follow Dakota because her shit's always epic, and I can't follow that.
She's always making people cry.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one. I know she's a nasty girl.
And telling him to go home.
I don't have like so much. I mean, I do have some that are in sex, but I feel like I've told this. This one I don't think I've told, but it was not really so much during sexy time. But so after a relationship, there were some things left over, some equipment, as it would be, that I didn't really know what to do with, but I didn't want it, and it was rather expensive equipment, and maybe some videos. So I packed it up with some other things and maybe sent it to the person's mother's house.
I don't see a problem here.
Bitch.
What? Well, what was I supposed to do with it? The person.
Did you make her sign for it? Did you make her sign for it? That's the funniest thing.
Well, she did open it.
Oh, God, love her soul.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's a good sport. She good sense of
Well,
humor.
look, if it's mutual property, like, whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to be in
was
front of
just-
Judge Judy having to give that back.
Right, I kept the house. I was just giving you the equipment back. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you said you wanted the
here's
workout
the
equipment.
anal beads and dudes double dogging, like the DVD. You can
It
have
wasn't
those.
double. There was like one of those things in there. You say,
The double-ended.
the pump, and there was a
Party
bunch of
stick,
crap.
we'll call it.
It was horrible. That thing was
it's
nice.
horrible.
Those things
That
are
was
evil.
horrible. Look at Jeffrey.
Well, then
that
what's
was
the
horrible.
point? I don't get it. It wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun. And yeah,
It was a bit
it makes it
exercise.
questionable. See, that'd be awkward. Like, I was listening to another podcast, who one of the podcast hosts I might be having on as an interview, and they were talking about this guy was all right, this guy was fisting another guy, and dislocated his wrist while he was
What?
while he was inside him. And because when you dislocate something, you've got no control over it. They couldn't maneuver it out. So they had to call an ambulance to come and remove this man from this man.
Shut
It was like a hand
up.
puppet's revenge.
I would
need
laugh.
Lamb Chop claimed a victim.
It's like the sweetest thing.
Yes.
Can you see it right now?
Worse.
This is 911. How can I help you? Yeah, can you come remove my father from my ass right now?
My father,
just
oh
really
my
did.
God.
Fuck.
But
Dark
a dislocated wrist is bad enough. But a dislocated wrist, like when you're fucking arm deep in someone, is worse.
Oh, could you like?
You know what, though?
what's-
These people put themselves in these positions, literally.
Oh,
so...
Luke, you have no room to talk. None.
Oh,
And I
please.
just-
I've never had to call an ambulance to the scene.
Not yet. Not yet.
If I was an ambulance driver, I'd walk in and I'd go, "Hello, puppet."
See, if you had a sense of humor, you'd be like, "How are you?" Yeah, good, thank you. You do the full Shari Lewis lamb chop moment, right? I'm okay with
the
that.
song that never ends.
Be like, I love
Never
ventriloquists.
ends.
Make them talk.
I know, right? And on that same episode, there was another story about a guy had a cock ring and it got caught on his girlfriend's IUD.
Oh shit!
So
Oh.
he had to they were like he would have to have stayed hard, right? Because
Why do
if it
people
went
put
soft, it'd pull
piercings
it out
in
even
something
worse.
that needs lots of friction?
I don't know.
It's
Cock
just
rings
asking
freak me
for
out a
trouble.
little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. There's been a couple of guys that have had their dicks pierced, and I'm like, you taking that motherfucker out? I ain't dying by choking on your motherfucking cock ring.
Especially when they don't tell you. They're like, do I have to
Well,
run you through a metal detector before you come?
I just that to me
right,
seems
okay.
more risky. Like gay sex and piercings, just
Yeah.
it's a no.
It shouldn't
I'm
be
gonna-
needing. Yeah, like there shouldn't be anything that could potentially open.
It's really drumming up that HIV.
Yeah. Like I'm. There's a hard
Maybe we
test for
are
me.
horrible. Maybe they were
We
right
are.
all along.
We're horrible people.
Horrible.
We are.
Horrible. We are
Right.
the evil in the good
Well,
world.
guys.
Speaking of
well,
evil in a good world, maybe Dakota can really round us out here. Go, girl.
Well,
what
I
do
have to
you got?
change some names in this story, but what had happened was
Yay!
I started dating this guy right after leaving a long relationship, and I could not be sober around him, and I don't know why. And so one night we decided he got a bondage kit, and he decided to tie me up, and I'm wasted, and I keep calling him my ex's name. I'm like, "Oh, Ryan," which was my ex, and then he's like, No. So I said I probably did this 10 times, and he's like, no. So he heads out of the room and leaves me fucking tied up for an hour. So I'm just
that's
fucking
amazing.
looking like a butchered cow on a fucking mattress. Brett, he was. I'm like, is he gonna Ted Bundy my ass right now? What's happening?
I was going to say, did you feel like that German, that German father that kept his daughter prisoner?
Very Joseph Fritzl moment for you.
It was so scary, and I'm like, is this really how I'm gonna go?
Put the lotion on the skin,
Yes,
Dakota.
some ass shit in this bitch. What? No, it was ridiculous. So safe to say that relationship was over after that night.
I think you've got to be really careful with bondage
my
in
God.
general, that you kind of
Yeah,
find
the safe word wasn't Ryan.
But not even safe words and stuff. You got to find the right partner that kind of,
Yes.
your
Not the
yums
stranger.
match, your yums match.
Not my
'Cause,
brightest
you
moment.
don't want to be like, oh yeah, I just like being tied up. And the other one's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking stick my dick right in your eye hole, and then tongue punch your fart box at the same time. I don't know.
Push ice cubes up your ass.
Yeah,
Or coffee cups.
No.
coffee.
10 out of
No.
10 would not recommend.
Yeah, no, coffee. The coffee cup is really stumping me because
I know.
there'd be.
I
Okay,
just
I
mean,
just have to think about dynamics
logistically.
and suction, right? So if you're, wouldn't there already be some kind of weird suction because of the hollowness of the cup?
I'd say that there was some dilation done prior to the insertion of the cup. I wasn't there when it happened. I only saw the aftermath.
Was it a coffee cup, a cappuccino cup, a mug? I need to know these things. What?
It was like a proper,
Was it
like a
venti?
coffee cup, one that's Can you hold up our merch, Jeff?
One
Do you
of
have our
these?
merch nearby? No, not like that. No, like our coffee cup that you can buy
One
on
of
our
these.
store.
An uncensored
Yeah, one of
radio
them. One of them. It was one of them.
Oh my! How is that even possible?
And that's why the handle got caught, I think, under like the tail,
But
under
I'm
the
saying,
coccyx,
if you go
sort of
up
wouldn't
this
come
way,
back.
like if this is your poot hole, right, and you go up this way, you've got all this like space. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that was the problem. There was some weird suction and it disappeared.
So I just want to make sure that none of us are going to, after the show, accidentally sit on a cup because we're curious.
No,
I
not at
think-
all.
Pack here, ready to go.
Hey, can you get me a coffee cup, please?
That's a.
Think
You know who we
Yeah.
needed on this show who would have saw some crazy shit in her days, Vera. She would have saw some fucked up shit when she started nursing.
Oh,
Vera would be the one. She probably had a coffee cup in her ass.
haven't we all?
While she's watching Bonanza.
What she was doing there.
I think that's a great place to say, I do, kids. What about you?
Oh,
Just with that mental image of Vera with a coffee cup in her
Vera
ass.
with
we've come to the end.
We have come.
The end.
But
We
let's
must
sit
both
there.
go.
Someone. It's always good that someone comes at the end, right? It's gonna be. It's gonna
Depends.
be there. Usually, if I
Yes,
do, it's
Tom.
like peace out. I gotta go. I'm that
Mhm.
bitch sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta get in and get done.
Oh,
And
you've
just
met
be
my
happy with
all my
life.
exes. Get in and get done.
Get in and get done. But I'm also not a female. Right, whatever. Boys are easy. Right.
1 minute later.
Yeah. Boys are easy. Just like, okay, slap it round, spin on it,
Boys are
happy
selfish
birthday.
lovers.
Right.
They are. It's like
So rude.
I have two chump over here, and he gets his. Where's mine? You know.
That's when
And
you've got to get
Tom.
out. That's when you've got to get out your mailed sex toys from Jeffrey's former someone's mother. She's got some in storage, I hear. Dakota, we can give you a number. If you
My
need
sister
some-
one time
slut.
sold a dresser at a yard sale that had a dildo in the top drawer.
I did that actually. I sold a
There was
car
like their
that
little
had-
bonus gift. They
Yeah.
got.
Free gift
I
with
Gift with
purchase.
purchase. Gift with purchase, you know.
I sold a car that had a dildo in it, but
A
it was
car?
never used. Yeah, a car. It was Halloween, and we'd all went out as doctors, and we had dildos in our pocket, and one fell out. We never found it, and it was somewhere in the car, and we
What kind
sold
of
it.
doctor has a dildo in their pocket?
Well, we were like dirty doctors. We were going to the gay club.
Oh my gosh, I have a dildo story actually. It's not
All
about
right,
me.
You can.
All right.
Like send us home with this one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send us
So-
home, Daddy.
One of my sisters-in-law was they'd moved into a house and they had everything packed in boxes under the house. And she'd been given a joke gift at her hen's night, I think, of like this massively ridiculous dildo, like something you would never use. Anyway, the neighbor was a little bit strange. And she come over one day asking for batteries for the dildo. And my sister-in-law was like, what dildo? And she's like, oh, it was under your house. So she'd be already using it.
Wait, what? She went under their house and stole a dildo.
And took it out of the box because there was like boxes of stuff under the house. Yeah, and she just took it.
Just stealing this
that's the
dildo.
And she has the batteries anyway. My sister-in-law was like, you couldn't honestly use that, dude. And she's like, oh, yeah, I take 9 inches. Like, wow. And she's just like, we're moving. It's worse than the Burbs, man. They were
The whole
out.
neighborhood could get sucked into that woman's vagina like they're the poltergeist.
Who the fuck does that? Like, oh, by the way, I've stolen something from under your house.
I've
Sorry,
broken into your
dildo.
house, stolen a sex toy, and
Like
now
a
I have
rocket
the
ship
hide.
sized dildo.
I have the hide to ask you for batteries for said sex toy.
Oh, I love how you say batteries.
Well, it's only proper.
She wasn't right, okay? She wasn't normal.
It's
It
like
was her
Clearly.
dildo.
that's a
She's
lot
shoving
more than a
horse
cup of
cocks up
sugar.
there.
Might as
Well,
well supply the batteries.
Well,
That
Steve
is
is
a lot
currently
more than
turning on
sure.
Dakota by just saying batteries.
Batteries.
I liked it.
Batteries.
No.
Sorry, batteries.
Speaking of
Dakota,
huge
you stay
dildos,
out from under
hi,
people's
Madison.
houses, okay?
That do take a lot of nerve. That's some Terry Hatcher fucking desperate
Lucky
housewives
for
shit.
me, my big ass can't fit under anyone's house. We good.
That's not a sex toy you get to steal. Shoot, you gotta pay for a date. Go.
I'd be looking like some Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch stuck under the fucking house because I got stuck. Not a
We can hear
good size.
Just legs. And a makeup palette
Cute.
next to you. It'd be cute.
Yes.
Not ruby slippers, just a makeup palette.
Just a
That's
makeup
cute.
palette.
So I know that we've already kind of went through all of these, but since you're talking about, so I lived in this apartment in Auburn. Okay, yeah, this was in Auburn, Jeffrey. I used to work overnights, and somebody gave me what was called a gag gift. It was called the anal joystick, and it had like this big curly finger thing on the ends that I used to keep a cupboard shut. I didn't actually use it. But it had a vibrator on it, and I used to enjoy it. Well, the problem was this was an old house. So, like, the doors between the two apartments at the top were really thin. So there was this older woman that lived across from me, and I get home at, like, 6 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden I turn the thing on, and the thing literally sounded like a boat when I turned it on. It literally would go... And so, whatever. So, I'm in my living room, because I live alone, having a little happy time at 6 o'clock, because it was the end of my night. Anyways, so I watching porn on TV, because we didn't really have internet back then. And then all of a sudden, I turn it off. I, go to bed for a few hours. I see her in the afternoon. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? She's like, good. She goes, were you vacuuming this morning at 6 o'clock?
I was brushing my teeth for a long time.
She goes, it just was very loud, and I thought it was strange that you were vacuuming at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Just my lower colon. I was,
Madison,
right up in there.
I'm like dying inside because I think that wasn't a sex toy. I think you fucked a bop it.
Twist it. Push it.
Bop
Pull
it. Woo! Yeah. Family game night. Here we come.
Sounds like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at Madison Devine's house. It's like, I think that's where we got to leave it, because if you hear the fucking chainsaw thumping, don't bother bumping. Madison Devine is busy. Busy. Well, thank you for joining us, kids. If you have enjoyed today's little snippet, there is a brand new show coming up here on the network called, it's a reboot, right, Jeffrey? We're going back in time to freshen things up. Do you want to quickly talk about it before we go?
It's just a reboot.
Hazy.
It'll be happening on Wednesday nights. It's the return of Your Guiltiest Pleasure, Darling, with Katrina, Dakota, Madison Devine, and Ma.
Better than ever.
So, yeah, they're going to tell more filthy stories about their lives.
We're bad.
We just getting started.
Well, we need to find out how Dakota got untied, but you can only find out on Guilty
That's
Pleasure.
a cliffhanger moment. We can't see her legs. We don't know she's still not tied up. We don't know these things.
Oh, untied. I'm like,
She's deaf now. She's been inside too long. She can't hear
Yeah.
anything or see color anymore.
Dakota,
she's
wink
so good at
3 times if you want to get loose.
That's why she's so good at makeup. That's all she got time. She got access to a blush palette and some eyeliner and shit. That's all she can do is just do makeup all the time and make TikToks.
yes.
Right? All right, kids. Keep it classy and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.